I honestly think from the physical look, it doesn't matter on one hand. But on the other hand,
For those of you out there, the question I asked him, because we're starting from nowhere, was, do you think that the physicality matters as to the kind of person that you want to become? So anyways.
That's the question. But I don't know. I was going to have some fun leaving there. What the hell are they talking about? Because they can just listen to the conversation and go from there. But for me at least, it came down to this. It's not so much the actual physicality, it's the effort. If I had a hole in my game, if I really like being very honest about that for a second, is the hole in my I as an artist, or quote unquote an author, or whatever you want to call me, because I seem to do everything these days. By the way, we're gonna get to you in a bit too. Congratulations, because that's
thank you, buddy.
That's actually fucking cool. But I bring this up this way for this reason. It's the fact that I don't invest enough in myself personally, and recognize and this has been I would say a semi-recurring theme, right? Because there would always be things in the past that would kind of derail this idea, because I've tried this a few times, but this time it's already gone a little different for a bunch of reasons. Number one, well, in the week since I started it, I got 2 stable freelance gigs. That's pretty cool right there, right? Number one. Number two, I just finished. So I've mentioned this, like I officially announced this in 14 days, what it is exactly. One of my books is up for an award this year, which is really fucking cool.
Yep.
I just negotiated with my, it's not officially set in stone, but we both enjoy working together. So it's one of those things where just like the apocalypse will, I'm not going to jinx us twice. I'm not going to jinx. Something incredibly like has to change things in order to, 'cause I enjoy working with her. She enjoys working with me, and we have a lot of fun together. So that's likely to happen. And I figured this out. I did the math. If I get 6 more stable freelancing gigs, 6 more, I can go on the road.
That'd be really sweet.
Yeah. Because remember some, because I'm getting a car, and I'm getting a car in like either this month or next month. I'm actually getting a car. I gotta get some stuff taken care of. Like this summer is about me investing in me, so that when the fall rolls around, because yes, I can't buy underwear in Ontario right now. That's where we're at with COVID. Stop laughing.
Yeah, no, dude, I know that's where my family's from, man. Like that's where I'm from. So no, I know all about it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's one of the things where I like. Hold on a second here. I'm doing this so I can get my comments on Facebook here. There we go. Done. Hey, Nita says hi. Hi, Nita. What's up? Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So, but you guys are just about out. I know how close you are to actually saying we're done with the pandemic. You were literally weeks away. California, I know when they start opening, because I interviewed one of my articles. Actually, I handed in last week. I found out exactly when California starts opening. So it's like you guys are almost done, because once California is open, the rest of the states will follow. Whoever's left that's still shut down, I think that.
I mean, a lot of us, like, I was in Florida not too long ago, and it's pretty much open. Here, pretty much open. So, I mean, I think California, really what that is California is kind of the last bastion of lockdown. You know what I mean?
No, I get you. But, like, you guys, like, by June 30th, essentially, you guys are going to be pretty much done. Right? You literally, the only way you guys are shutting down again is if people are dropping dead in the street. That is literally the only way you guys are going to shut down again.
Yeah, I know that half of all American, they said that half of all American adults are vaccinated.
Yeah.
and we need to get to 70% in order to hit herd immunity. So.
Yeah, like you're gonna get there, right? You're gonna get there one way or the other. So I just think at this point the wheels are pretty much in motion that you're done. Like you guys are done for all intents and purposes. You guys have pretty much said, yeah, right. Canada's going to follow suit shortly thereafter, just because. I know I think they will, because I think here's the thing, right? This is how I'm looking at this. One of the things I'm doing is I'm renewing my American passport. I don't care what the fuck happens up here. Right? There's going to come up. I'm going to just say fuck it eventually. Right? Right? It just like and people, it might sound irresponsible, but the truth of the matter is, like I said, I want you guys to consider something. I can't buy underwear right now. It would be one thing if restrictions were consistent. It would be, right? You couldn't go, right? We don't have that here. We have I don't know what the fuck we have here. That's kind of what makes it so bad.
It's like borderline totalitarian, man. Like, it's pretty ridiculous.
It is in some ways. I mean, you can challenge. This is the thing about Canadians. We are too generally nice for our own good, right? But the thing is, at this point, it's just like there just comes a point. It's just like fuck this, and I'll go to Michigan, right? I'll go to where I want to go, do what I want to do, and fuck it, right? And because honest to God, like, okay, I have my own questions about the vaccine going forward. I'll be the first to admit it. That all said, this is the way how I see it. The scariest thing about COVID was the fact that there was a lack of means of control. That no longer is an issue, right? So we should be looking at getting out, and that's just my honest, like, straight up opinion, right? And the fact of the matter is, if you want people to get the shot, one, in Canada, make it more readily available. Two, right? Two, if you really want to get out, make it more relevant. Two, let people breathe. Just let people breathe a little bit, because I know, like, I'm a quote unquote essential worker right now. A lot of this shit really pisses me off. Yeah. Because I'm literally in the front of it, and I honestly think it's a lot of crap. And I'm just being very, like, that's me, like, my angriest, and going, fuck this. That all said, I'm not belittling anyone that's suffering. I'm not trying to say anything like that. But there just comes a point you gotta look in the mirror and go, not everything's a nail.
Yeah, how much more can we handle, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's a point too where, like, I think I'm going to be going on a show on Sunday, right? And I realized this too, that we have a means of control now. So then the question becomes, what's actually more dangerous, the physical side or the mental side at this point?
Yeah.
Right? I would argue we've hit the mental point. Right? And that's my opinion. Right? But I've watched how people have acted, and I just think, honest to God, just let people breathe.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you think. That's just me. There's an empathy part of this that.
Well, I mean, I think there's a level. The real, for me personally, one of the real issues is the level of lockdown that you guys went to.
Yeah.
Is barbaric.
Yes.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's so bad that I believe the Toronto police chief actually put out a thing basically saying, because it was said, oh, hey, police are going to stop you for doing this, for doing that, blah, blah,
blah.
It
got to that point. And we pushed.
And the police chief put out a thing saying, just so you're aware, we can only stop you for this, and this is how you can deal with it. And he told everybody exactly within the law what they can and cannot do with their rights.
It wasn't just him. Almost every city in Ontario said the exact same damn thing here, except the only thing that's really shitty here, I don't know if anyone's watched it. The OPP. Holy fuck!
I bet, eh?
Oh fuck, dude. Yeah, like I said, like yeah.
Just, for those of you out there, the OPP are the Ontario Provincial Police.
Yes.
They're like state police, and they're
not cool. And if you want to see just how bad it's become, there are videos literally of them harassing 12-year-old kids. I am not happy one bit. So, okay, no more COVID talk. Fuck that. Right?
Good, because I'm drinking whiskey.
So I have vanilla ice cream with syrup. I got a drink to go with it. I didn't go out and get what I wanted. I wanted a peach vodka.
Okay, it's a mixed berry vodka.
Yeah. It's like basic. Well, it's not. I wish. It was berry beach. It's a malt. It almost tastes like vodka, but the beer store. I literally went to the beer store. It's like, we don't have vodka. What?
Yep. That's an alcoholic drink. Yeah, no, yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. The beer store only does beer. That's it.
I was choked. I was so choked. I'd forgotten. I live in Alberta and BC, right? So I had completely forgotten. Yeah. I completely forgot how that worked. It was like, oh, god damn it. All right, what do you got that comes close to it?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Are they doing the spritzers up there?
Spritzers weren't. I wanted something with an actual kick. Like a little bit of a kick to it. Right? So this actually has a decent it puts regular American beer to shame. I mean, it's about 5.5, which isn't too bad.
That's not a huge bar, but okay, fair enough.
I tried, man. I didn't know.
No, I'm just saying, you're like, oh, it's better than American beer, and I'm like, that's not exactly a fucking huge bar to get above.
No, it's really I know it's one of those things. It used to be worse for me. I lived in a mountain. In the coming day, like, it still doesn't hit me very hard. It hits me harder than it did when I lived in Calgary, though, because Calgary, I was just like, oh my god, there's just no fucking way that I'm getting drunk in the United States ever. Just now I can get drunk. I just have to get to your good stuff, which means I have to actually go to your state, or I have to go to Nevada. I have to go there. So you're
liquor.
What?
Liquor.
Yeah. Go to the harder stuff, because it's like,
just go straight to liquor. Yeah, because it's all the same. And most of, I mean, I went to a bar recently, and it's so funny. You know, the cheaper the bar, the more they over pour. So it's just like, just go to a shitty bar, ask for some liquor drinks, and they'll over pour, and you're great.
Lessons learned. I'll remember that next time I head down there.
A double becomes a triple. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I got it, but I have to say this. I have to do this properly, so let me do this properly.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight, Chuck Pineau, author.
Woo!
That's gotta feel good, man.
That feels really good. Yeah, it does, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on that one for so long, man. Like I mean, literally, like, I remember trying to write my first book when I was like in grade 5.
Sweet.
I wrote 30 pages, which in grade 5 was a lot.
Actually, that's legit impressive. That's legit impressive. Yeah.
So I wrote 30 pages of a fantasy novel at that age, and ever since then, my wife and I have we met as writers who wanted to make novels and all that kind of stuff. And so this is my first published book, and I'm really excited and really proud. Really happy that Eric Cockrell brought me along for the ride. And yeah. Okay,
there's so much I could ask here. So, what did you want first, novel or comic?
Novel was my first love, actually. I love comics, and I've realized that I'm better suited to writing comics. I understand sort of the machinations of a comic, and I believe that they're better suited to my style. But I still love novels. Like, you can love both or more.
and that's a shot to me. I think there a little bit because I do like novels and poetry and
a writer is a writer.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know what I mean? Like I love crafting stories, and I can do it over any. And so now, you know, and you're in a similar boat. I've been able to be published in 3 different mediums. So now we're in comics, we're in novels, and we're in audio dramas. So
your book, I haven't. I wish I could say I read more of it than I did. I did read the first couple chapters, right? I'm sorry, man. I did not expect to be this busy in the last couple weeks.
Wow. I get it, dude.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do.
I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it felt like an audio drama. Like I can feel the audio drama in the book, and I can tell. I do like off the air. There are a couple things I'm gonna make just little things I've learned between my first book and my second book that I think will help you going forward. I love Barnabas though. He's cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
You'll like him a lot more as you move forward.
I will. And by the way, also remind me when we go off the air, I have another promise to you. I promise to keep. I have a promise to keep.
Okay. You know what's great about people make promises to me all the time, and I immediately forget about them. Like immediately just go, and that way I'm almost never disappointed. So
yeah, and I'm the other way. It's just what I do because I listen to people all the time. I hear what they say, and as I've gotten better at this, I also hear what they don't. Right? A lot of times I hear what they don't, and I do take like I like I said, my dad's from Detroit, so where he comes from, your word is your bond, and you say it, you mean it, because he didn't grow up in the nice area of Detroit, ladies and gentlemen. He grew up in one of the roughest areas in the city. He grew up in the area during the 1969 riots where the tanks were driving into. He was there, right? Like he was there in the house, hoping to God no one fired in his direction, because those houses even then were shit. They weren't going to stop anything. Yeah. So that's where he's from, and in places like that, folks, your word's all you have. So I kind of have that too. I'm more forgiving than he's gotten more forgiving in his old age, I think. But I think keyword there is I think.
He has a way of doing that though.
Yeah. But for me personally, right? This is how I approach it. If you say something to me, I'll remember it and I'll believe you, unless your actions prove otherwise. If they prove otherwise, I will remember what you said and I will match it to your action, and that's how I decide whether or not I do business with you long term. That's literally my litmus test for people. You can say anything you want to me, guys. I will believe you, and if you get one over on me, because it is possible, but at the same token, you only get one. So, yeah.
You heard him, guys. You heard him.
Yeah. I'm still jealous of your headphones, dude. I'm still jealous.
I got this from a good buddy of mine. It's sad. My headphones ended up dying, and I wasn't able to. My microphone died, and I couldn't talk when we were playing Fortnite together. And so he surprised me by sending me these. And I immediately was excited. I put them on, and I just thought it was hilarious. And he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Honestly, I love it. I think they're hilarious." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "What do you mean they're hilarious?" I said, "Well, my brother, like whenever we would do anything for each other, like my brother, he bought himself a really nice MP3 player. This is like 2005. That was a big deal. So he bought himself a really nice MP3 player, and I'm like, how much is that? He told me, and it was a really good price. He got it from like some factory outlet or whatever. So I gave him the money, and I said, "Could you pick me up one?" He's like, "Yeah." And his was like black, really sleek, awesome looking. And he buys me one, and it's fucking hot pink. And I laughed my ass up. And I was like, "That's on purpose, right?" He's like, "Yeah, you should have picked up your own." And I'm like, "No, that's hilarious. Like, I'm good with that." And I walked around with that thing like on my belt all the time, and I thought it was great. And so when he got me this, same thing. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you bought me something, and joke's on me. Fine, no problem." So I thought it was hilarious. And he's like, "No, that was just the last color they had in stock." And I thought it was really cool. I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't hate the color. I still think it's good, but yeah, it's hilarious because immediately it's the first thing anyone says. Oh, you've got pink headphones. I'm like,
I actually think it's actually kind of brilliant. So I watched your show, and I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm like, first off, you might be better at it than I am, and I'm like, dang it.
I don't know about that.
You're good. The thing. I'll tell you what you do better than me. I'm actually going to give you this.
Okay.
We go everywhere on my show. Now that's partly because it's me, and I have a big mouth. That's just the way it is. Let me just go everywhere, right? But you are incredibly you remind me in some ways of some of the lessons I've been interviewing people for a very long time. One of the reasons I go so off the cuff is because honestly, I've done so many interviews. For the most part, I can just talk to you and I can get a real quick sense of who you are really quickly, and I know where to go, right? But your prep is really good, and I love honestly, I love the passion of it. Even though some of your guests that I don't agree with entirely, right? I'm like, the one thing they all have in common with you is they're all passionate about what they do, and your quiet little theme of your show is you love working with passionate people that do that. This is what we have in common. Yeah. I'm a little bit more diversified because I've been doing it a lot longer at the show. I mean, but the passion in your show is ingenious, and I actually think you have a great little show, and you do it well. And tip my cap off to you, sir. It's actually a really good show.
Thank you, dude. No, honestly, I see myself as a creator first, and I never think of myself as an interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
And so really I kind of try to play it as one thing I've always been very good at is hosting, as far as parties and get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. So I just treat it like I'm hosting, and I envision that myself and the guest are in the party, and we're kind of sort of the head of it all. But then the audience has their say, and they all need to be able to get their time in, especially since that person is the guest of honor. And so I try to leave it open for questions and comments. I try to, make sure that they know that they're included. Because I spot things when I'm on people's shows, things that bother me as an interviewee. And okay, so this isn't the same. When people do live, they have the on my show, they'll put the chat up and you can see what people say. Well, there's some people who they don't cultivate that at all. They just if anyone says anything, they put it up immediately. And you can tell it's so you don't get a lot of chats in your show, eh? You don't get a lot of talk. So anytime anybody says anything, you're excited. We don't need to see everything that everyone says.
No.
We don't need to see when, the people are saying hi to each other. Let them do that. So I tend to keep that out. I only bring in the stuff where, people want to either have some fun with us, which I want that. I want them to feel included. And then also when they're directly asking a question, I want it to feel like they're asking. So rather than just me asking the question for them, I'll make sure that their name is up there and everything, so they feel very much included. And I don't know, man. I have a good time with it. If anything, if I am good at it, it's because of guys like you. It's because of all these different interviewers that I've been able to be in front of and talk to and learn from and pick up from. If I'm good on the cuff, it's because of doing several shows with guys like you who are just kind of freewheeling it, having a good time. I know you say I'm prepared and I have a good idea of the things I'm going to talk about, but I don't usually have anything written up.
You don't need. It's not about It's not about the writing up. It's the fact that it's really you're. So when I'm gonna give an interview 101 class here for everybody.
Yeah. No, please.
So I don't do this anymore, and I'll tell you guys why at the end. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I want to go a little bit more in depth with this when I get to the other side. But when you want to actually do an interview, you got to understand one of the biggest things you have to understand with your interview is the length of time in your interview. Because if you only have 10 minutes, let's say this was only going to be a 10-minute conversation. Hell no, it's us. But let's just say for the sake of argument, it's 10 minutes. Right. Well, a more straightforward question and answer works in that format very well because you don't have a lot of time. So it's about getting the important beats out that matter, right? In that space. 10 to 15 minutes, a question and answer interview is actually really good. Anything over that, though, it starts feeling very fake. And the reason why it's very fake is because no one talks like that. Now you have time. We've gone 30 minutes already. You have time going back and forth, right? Now, let's say Chuck likes an hour, okay? An hour is a decent time for a show. It's a very decent time. Yeah. And here's the thing, okay? So in an hour, you can construct a story. In an hour, it's like, I think my guests will like talking about this. And we'll do this for like 15 minutes. Like in that like 15 minutes, you'll go back and forth because honest to God, that's the best shit, right? But you'll time it in such a way, okay, I have to hit these 3 or 4 points. So you're like, maybe, let's say, for sake of argument, 1 point, I don't know if I have that much here. I'll go 12 minutes here. I got enough point. Okay, I give a shit about this. We're going to go 20 minutes here, right? Right? And then there's another part you're going to be like, this is an interesting topic. I'm not sure where this is going to go, but we'll give it 15. And then we'll give the rest of the show for this last topic and wrap up, right? So that is why you structure an interview. You structure, and there's a story you're telling in that interview. It's almost like doing an act 1, act 2, act 3. Mm-hmm. Why I don't do this? Because I've done this I have an incredible amount of practice. I can get a sense of when a conversation is kind of winding down. Some can go forever. Me and John talked for 3 hours last night. But John's a good dude. And he told his story about Bubba Patrol, about his dog dying. And I didn't say a damn word for like 10, 15 minutes because it's such a cool story. And that's the advantage to my structure. Although we do a lot of bullshit on my structure. But here's the thing. Good little nuggets come out of just talking. When people are fully talking, they're fully comfortable. And that's when you can get into some really, really deep stuff and figure out things about your guests. For example, I just figured out something about Chuck when he was talking about hosting. And I also now understand why he's a great editor. You're a nurturer.
Yeah, okay, yep. Yep.
That's you enjoy nurturing and helping people solve their problems, which if you really sit there and think about it, that's what an editor ultimately does. And I could see why that would be such an appealing thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, an editor can be a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. I feel like the best form of it personally is as a nurturer, yes. I'll always tell people, because I don't work for a company. I'm freelance. I work for you. Like I work for whoever's hired me. And so I will tell them, like I sat down for a meeting with some guys the other day and I said, look, let's just put the cards on the table right away, okay? You guys have called me. You guys are interested, but I need you to understand this before we start. I work for you. You will get the best out of me knowing that we don't need to fight over anything. We don't need, at the end of the day, if you decide I don't want to do it, then you don't have to. And that's it. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's all that matters. But you will get the absolute best out of me if even when your first reaction is, that's bullshit, I'm never going to fucking do it. If that's your first reaction, then you need to shut up and just let whatever I said in that moment, let it work through you. Like just really focus on that for a while. Because there's something in you that's trying to fight that. And quite often, it's a lot more than just that's a bad idea. It's something that maybe you're not ready for a challenge, or maybe there's something that you're not ready to do, or maybe there's something that you don't want to believe about your story that is in fact true. A lot of things. And it's okay if you never come to the point where you agree with me, But those are the moments where you really need to just stop and go, okay, what does this actually mean to me? Because I only ask those questions because I want to get further to it. You, again, like I said, you don't have to listen at all, but you'll only get the best of me if you're willing to listen and you're willing to do the work and get through it. And I'll tell you, I'm like anybody else. You know, people will say, "Oh man, he's a great editor," all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but you know what? I get bored too. And if someone's like, "No, no, 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 no," then I'm just like, "Cool. I guess I'm proofing. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm paid anyways." You know what I mean? I might still tell you, "Hey, what about this?" But it'll be half-heartedly because I'm already expecting you to say no. So I'll fight where I can. But if you're gonna fight me the whole way, not interested in fighting with you, man. I get paid whether we fight or not.
Well, I know this is a quiet little thing we both have in common. If neither of us feel like we're being listened to, like, and I'm not saying we are not paid to be agreed with 100%. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah, no, yeah.
What we're saying is, if you do this thing, this will happen, right?
Yeah.
And you'll say, that's nice. And if you do it enough times, we both come to the same question eventually of, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not coming back, and I didn't get paid enough money to do this job. Because honest to God, right? I could I can get ignored. I can get ignored at work. I don't need to be ignored. Right?
You know what? I'll be straight with you. I might come back because getting paid to be ignored, actually, it's not too bad. You know, like I've done jobs where it's like I'll come in and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do the same edits I always do, but I'm not going to fight you that hard. And because we've already done this before, we've already established our relationship. And our relationship is, you want me for my name, and I guess I want you to get paid. So if that's really what you want, do I like that? No, I don't want that, but it's part of freelancing, and you've created that dynamic in our relationship by allowing that. So would I take the job? You know, honestly, I mean, right now I'm busy as shit, so I'd probably say no. But if I'm not and I need the money, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be happy about it.
Well, see, I'm enough of an asshole to charge more money for that job. Like, I mean, yeah.
I'm asshole tax.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in it. I'm a big believer in it. Actually, it's so I'm doing podcast production freelance job. I like the person. I actually did it cheaper than I would have from almost anybody else. Because
if you're willing to have a friend discount, you also have to be willing to have an asshole.
That's
tax.
right.
And everybody needs to understand that they're both real viable things. If you've got one, you should have the other two because they're both viable.
And I do have a friend discount. Like, I do have a friend discount, and I do. But I also have an asshole discount, and a friend can make it to the asshole discount, right? Mm-hmm. A friend can do it. Actually, I think honestly, the friend is the most dangerous one likely to hit that point because because if they don't respect you for what you do, like, oh, it's just this person. And it does happen with some friends. It's just like, oh, yeah. And then that one of the clients I fired last year it was in that boat, right? I had to do it because it was just like one of those things where it's just like, I can't put my name on this because even if this succeeds, right? I didn't do anything with this, and and I can't. And even though, and I'm always going to have in the back of my head, no matter how successful this is, that money was left on the table, right? And I will know this, even if nobody else does, and it will eat me alive inside because I know I could have done more, but I wasn't allowed to do more. So, yeah, I do have an asshole tax.
So I'm realizing something as I look at you right now. You might want to take a good picture of yourself before you cut your hair.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because you look disturbingly similar to Glenn Danzig right now, and it's hilarious to me.
Oh, God.
Okay. So...
Okay. That would explain why someone called me Danzig on the bus on the way home.
It totally could be.
Yeah, that explained it. I couldn't figure that out for the life of me. Now.
You look a lot like Glenn Danzig.
Well, that's better than what I used to be referred to. Like when my hair was a little shorter, I was referred to you remind me of Mike Myers, the comedian. Like,
also pretty cool. I mean, he's not a cool looking guy, but
that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
yeah, I feel you.
It's like, oh, you know, I mean, I do have a little bit of an ego, just a little bit of an ego.
Yeah, right. No, I feel it. We're all a little vain in some way. How that vanity comes up, different for everybody, but yeah,
we all have to be like we're so concerned. Like with this, like for me making the changes I'm going to make, it's because, yeah, I am vain, but I also recognize this too, right? Again, I feel like at this point in my life that for me to get to the next level, I have to not only looking the part will encourage people to treat me differently. And I have noticed that too. When I have suited up, right? Oh, some people actually get intimidated by me, Chuck. It's scary.
Sometimes we need that.
Yes.
We need them to be a little intimidated.
Yes. But anyway, so writer Chuck. So Mr. Writer Chuck, we'll go back here.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit because we're having fun. Hey Trisam2376, how you doing? Hi, Rodnos Loki. Come on, welcome to the show. Welcome. I'm hoping you enjoy Warcraft, Rodnos Loki. Trisam, hey, come on in. Have a good time. And I'll do that. Just check Facebook real quick here.
Consider this an AMA, guys. If you're interested in anything, you have any questions, by all means, go ahead.
Absolutely. This is more of a celebratory post because Chuck is an author now. And so, okay, so we're gonna go with this in reverse. I'm gonna ask this in reverse. Your comic book background.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it helped you tremendously in the audio when you did the audio.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It did help me in the audio. You know what? One of the big things that it helped me in the audio is when I first started, I very much Ravnos Loki. Oh shit. Oh, I know who these guys are.
Yes.
Oh, it's Trish and Mike. I love you guys.
Yes.
Dude, you guys are great.
Subscribes to my show. So
he's such a good dude. Yeah, no, I'm glad. Oh, good. That's fucking funny. I love you guys. Yeah. Okay. So when I first started writing in comics, I didn't love the sound effects, and I wanted to leave them out. And then I realized after doing the first Welcome to the Void, it was it didn't have a lot of the sound effects, and it felt off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I still wanted to leave them out. I went against that and put them in because respect to the medium, knowing that it's right. But then when we started doing audio, I was able to embrace that and go, oh, cool. I have someone who's going to make the sound effects for me. So as long as they know kind of what's going on, then yeah, I can do that. I even ended up embracing it to the point where we were having fun. And one day, so what happens is we have this after show. After a week after the show's been up, Eric and I will go and we will talk about the last episode and have a good old time and all that kind of stuff. And he told me how much of a pain in the ass one of the sound effects was. And I was like, oh, great. I'm doing more of that. And so I started writing scenes where it forces him to have to do crazy fucking sound effects. So I think it was chapter 6 of the book. There's this one scene they're driving in a car, and for no reason, I actually ended up having one of the guys kind of he was already excited, and so he pulled over. He pulled into the next lane without looking, and he accidentally ended up cutting off a truck. And so the truck had to blast his horn. So a horn has to blast while the guy is still narrating, and so he has to find the perfect volume of a truck blasting that doesn't go over our narrator trying to talk. And he was like, oh, that's so annoying. And I'm like, yeah. And I kept trying to find new ways and new things in the story until I was just like, actually, he's really good at this.
To the point was, you know what? He probably thanks you in hindsight. You made me better. Fuck you. But you made me better.
He hasn't said that. Mostly he just says fuck you. But yes, I'm sure that's how it's gone. And I'm glad for that. But yeah, man, it's been a really cool experience. I've enjoyed it a lot. It mostly took me back to when I was doing a lot more prose, because I didn't, the comic stuff is more recent. But the prose stuff is kind of where I started and where I really kind of started going. So sound of popcorn popping is only overshadowed by the baying of the cat outside in heat. Okay, I'll remember that. I'll have to use that one.
Cat and heat. I can speak from personal experience. I've tried just experimenting from sounds, just experimenting with sounds on the audio. Good God, good God, because you can't. No. It's you can't ignore it. You just can't ignore it. There's nothing you can do with it. You're just stuck with this noise, and no matter what, do you know what I find is the only way that actually can work? You put the plot in there. Just put any plot shit that's annoying, you put it there. Because all anyone's going to remember is that fucking cat noise anyway. So if you want people to miss shit on purpose, those are the kinds of sounds you put in there.
Hide your secrets right there.
Yeah, exactly. Hide them there because no one's going to want to hear it there. It's like, God damn, no. It's like, yeah. Sound of popcorn's actually simpler to deal with, believe it or not. But cat, God, no.
Well, there was a comedian who once said, if you ever want the perfect alarm to wake up to, it's a cat throwing up.
Yeah, that's up there.
Because that's like that will get you, that will wake you up right away. And I was like, oh yeah, dead on.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, it's not the way it's like, this is a great, wonderful start to my day. Thanks, cat. I'm awake now.
Yep.
But
I'm up. Let's do this, whatever this is.
What did you eat? Oh God. It's like, yeah, it's like
I'm about to find out.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, what did you eat? And I went to audio first because here's the thing. Comics, there's not a lot of words. Pictures do a lot of the heavy lifting. There's words, but not most of the time, people never see them. It's actually just right. But audio, there's more words. Because you have to get there's more structure when you tell an audio book or an audio story than there is with a comic. Then you get from that, you jump into prose.
Yeah.
After doing it for so long, I'm not just not comics and sounds like stuff. I would say a lighter word count. Part of me thinks you embrace the challenge, but another part of me was there like a moment where you're like, Donnie's like, oh my God, look at all these words I have to use and all these descriptions I have to write that I never had to in maybe a very long time. Was it like muscles you've forgotten to use, or?
At first it was like, actually, if you go and you listen to the audio drama and then directly compare it to the novel, you'll actually find it's very low on descriptions. And we actually had to go I went back through the novel and I added an awful lot of descriptive devices to the novel because we did realize that it was missing a fair amount of that in the audio section. So yeah, man, I really I did have to do that, and that was something that I did kind of let loose or let free a little bit and not really focus on. So yeah, that was something, and I didn't realize it until after it basically gone to audio, and I would say now that like the season we're doing now, we're on season 3, we're working on the second book, and I would say already the descriptions are better. There's a little bit more of what's happening and what people are seeing around them. I got to have fun where there's this moment where someone has stepped on a stone and it sets off a fire trap where the flame is coming down on them. And because of time travel, someone knocks them out of the way. And I got to play with the 3 seconds of time and everything they felt and heard. and it was over like an entire paragraph, and it was so much fun to describe all of those grueling seconds as they thought they were going to be killed by this impending doom of fire. And it's something that you can't do in comics. And so I've been able to jump on and enjoy the challenges of both doing an audio drama and of doing novels, because I found that the challenges of doing comics I've enjoyed so much that that now anytime something comes to me, I want to find a way to challenge me. Like if they're not, if I'm not going to be normally challenged, I'll find a way to do it. You know, I remember writing a script, and I basically wrote a scene that was going to occur in the middle of the next issue. And so I ended up basically, so, you know, there's a jump in time, and suddenly we see them at the very last page, and they're fucking beaten up. And I had like one of them missing a tooth, and I had a couple, you know, cuts, and one of them I think had a black eye or something, and I gave them lots of weird little injuries. And then I wrote a note for myself and basically said, good luck explaining this, buddy, because I had not thought ahead to how they got these particular scars. So now when I wrote the next one, I would have to look, and I'd have to go, oh, damn, what happened to all these things, and how am I going to include all of these injuries in this issue to make sure that accounts for what happens here. So I'm going to make sure somebody loses a tooth. I'm going to make sure that these cuts and this black eye and all those things happen. And I have to do that in the fight. And I love the challenge of that. I love screwing with myself. And I think the more we try to challenge ourselves and the more we get excited about those challenges, the more you're going to get done. And I think that because I've been jumping into these challenges, because I had someone like Eric in my corner going, do you want to do an audio drama? And I'm like, yeah. All right. I don't know what that looks like. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you go back to comics. That's your quote unquote day job, or at least, right? So
yeah.
You now have learned 2 new languages of telling stories. How do you look at comics now?
Oh, that's funny. Comics become like a stretching of different muscles. I think all the different mediums, they stretch different muscles. So I start to look at it like I'm at the gym, which, if you know me, I'm not exactly a guy who frequents the gym. That's okay. But so comics would be like leg day.
Yeah.
Because what it allows me to focus on is I'm not focusing on my description so much. I just have to make sure there's enough description that the artist gets what I want down there. I don't have to go crazy. So I often prefer to drop down my descriptions a little bit to inspire them to do something way better than what I saw in my head. So I really like to give them a lot of time to play. So for me, that's leg day. That's me focusing on my my dialogue, which is a big deal. Me focusing on things like my story beats. Story beats are way easier to find in a comic than they are to find in a novel, because you don't know when your page turn is going to be in a novel. That's really difficult. You know what I mean? You would literally have to be formatting as you go and trying to work it so that you knew exactly when I'm turning the page. That's tough.
It is. Although there are authors I know that do it.
I'm sure there are. I don't think I want to be that author.
No, but what I would say with actually, you know what? It's going to be interesting. I'm going to, maybe in about 2 or 3 years, you might not know quite as easily anymore. Because and here's why I say that, because I've noticed this with comics. Kickstarter and Indiegogo are starting to change them, man. I think in interesting ways. Because a lot of these creators are starting to realize, hey, listen, the reason why DC and Marvel do their books this way is this thing called ad space, right? Oh. And we don't have that here. So what could we do with all these extra pages?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm noticed, like, so I told you this, you laughed at me, but this is the truth. I have 5 regular books from the companies, from the more traditional veins of publishing. And the reason why, so I can actually use Kickstarter privileges more often. Because it's really cool. It's really cool. Like, I'm always going to read Green Lantern. I have a soft spot for Ninja Turtles because I'm still 12. That's just the way it is. And I'd love, really, like, if Saga came back tomorrow, I'd buy it. It would be shut up and take my money. It's just that's.
How are you liking Ronin?
I love Ronin.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's. So my favorite 2 books right now are Last Ronin, and I have a soft spot for Harley Quinn.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of. So I knew Riley before he broke in. Like, I knew him before he broke in. So for me, there's always going to be a little bias for Riley Rossman because I know the guy and he's a good dude, but he's also great. Like, it's not like, I don't think anybody that looks at his stuff can make an argument that he's anything but. I want to see him do Captain Marvel. I want to see him do Captain Marvel because I think he could do things with that book nobody else could. I love his Martian Manhunter. I love his take on Gotham City. He does monsters really well. I want to see him go after do the gods. I think he'd be incredible at it. Opinion. That's my opinion. Stephanie Phillips has been my favorite up-and-coming writer. You lucky bastard, Tristan. I only got 1. Yeah. I only got 1, and I ain't giving it away for anything. Screw you guys. Like, that book's amazing. Right? Yeah, 2 copies of Last Roman. For those people watching, getting even 1 copy of the first issue's Last Roman first printing is ridiculously hard. 2 is almost unheard of. Right? Yeah. So
are those slabbed in 9.8s? Like,
I read mine, so I know it ain't 9.8. I don't care. I was just like, yeah. I read it. It's like, why'd you read it? Because it's Kevin. It's Tom Holtz telling, like, one of the best, like, Batman Ninja Turtle, like, tropes work really well together.
Yeah.
Telling the Dark Knight Returns in the form of Ninja Turtles is a freaking awesome concept. Yeah. Oh wow, nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Henri is a really good friend.
He is a good dude. Yeah, great dude.
So I gotta get him on the show at some point. But they said so. Those are, I got 5, and so I'm getting the 5 issues of Nightwolf. Naira X from Bill Moss is coming to me next month. All right, and then I'm just looking at all the books. It killed me. I couldn't get Ben's book. I really wanted it, but I just couldn't do it right then. I just couldn't support it. Right, so it's just like, because that looked really good. I think Ben's great. I think Ben's really good. So,
well, we're working on issue 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And my favorite indie book, like the books from the Kickstarter right now, believe it or not, is by Christopher S. Moran, Peerless. That book.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a kung fu book. It's blaxploitation kung fu. It's awesome.
Really?
Oh, well, I'm not doing it justice. I'm not actually doing it justice. But yeah, it's got that old school blaxploitation vibe. It's not really, I don't think, a full-fledged blaxploitation book, but it's like that. It's kung fu.
Yeah.
It's, oh my god, I noticed something too, is that musicians make great comic book creators.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Or at least music lovers and whatnot.
Yeah, because so some of my favorite stuff from musicians in the last few years, Skin and Earth by Lights. That's actually, for a debut, pretty damn freaking good, right? Ben's book, that's really good. Chris's book is really good, right? Jamie McKelvey. Oh my god, stuff he does, really, really good, right? Like, musicians and comics seem to go together like peanut butter and jelly. They just do.
Do you know why?
Because I think a couple of reasons. The band format of comics fit very well with a lot of the personalities of the people that do it. very. Write him and ask after fulfilling you can get an issue. Oh yeah, I'll do. You know what, Trisha? I'll ask him. Ben likes me anyway. Me and him had a really, really good time when he came on my show. So I'm sure if I asked him really nice, he'd let me get the stuff. But yeah. It's just like I was really choked because I just couldn't. By the time I got everything going again, I was like, "His Kickstarter's gonna be done." But anyways,
it is what it is, man.
Yeah, but no, but like I said, there's so many good. Like I want an indie budget, and I can only do that if I cut back on the mainstream books. And to be honest, I'm not sure I'm missing that many.
Yeah, somebody said it was really nice. I got a very nice compliment recently because there's a lot of this mainstream versus indie bullshit that happens. And a good buddy of mine, someone who is a massive supporter of comics as a whole, all the way across the spectrum, is my good buddy Travis Gibb. He is incredibly knowledgeable about both the indie sphere and the mainstream comics, both Marvel, DC, Image, a lot of that stuff. He's into all of it. And he had said about me, he said, you know what? I got to give it to Chuck because he doesn't have the money to be able to do both. So he's all in on mainstream, or he's all in on indie, but he said it before. It's not because he has an issue with indie or with mainstream, but rather because he would rather support his fellow indies and the people that he knows into making their dreams come true. And that's really the reality of it. I want to be all in. And also I feel like, if you want to be able to flip a comic real quick and make $200 or $300 right now, mainstream. Don't do that with indie. It's such a terrible idea. It won't work. But do mainstream, and that will do great. You'll get this, you'll get the new Harley comic with the special variant from that one store that nobody ever gets out to, and it's done by this superstar artist, and you can slab it, flip it, and you make like $200 or $300. Great, good for you. But if you want that Ninja Turtles #1 that nobody has, it's on Kickstarter, man. It's on Kickstarter. That's out there, and those are the ones, and I'm gonna at some point be able to say, oh, I know where that dude started. He's in my short box. I have his first little nothing comic, and now that thing is worth thousands of dollars. You're not gonna get that in mainstream.
No, you won't, because because again, it's everybody forgets when someone does make it. Everybody looks backwards. What else has he done? That's the business of publishing, period, guys. It's not your front, it's your back. Right? That's right. Unless you're one of the very fortunate few. Now, your back can eventually build your front, but usually your back is what makes you your money, not your front. Right? So that's how it works. Business 101, courtesy of Professor Josh. Right?
That's it.
Yeah. But that all said, I like definitely creators I'm a big fan of. Love Mug Park. I really think she's I can't wait till she actually does a comic, interiors, everything, start to finish.
Oh, you didn't hear?
No.
Oh, okay. So I just did a conversation with Rob Multari.
Okay.
Who does Nightwolf. Have you heard of that book?
That's the book I just bid on.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
Right.
He has a side project for that coming out, a spin-off called Snowpaw.
Oh, I saw that. So Mog did all these like little sketches of that.
But that's because Mog is the interior artist for that series.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
I love it.
I got to see the beginning stuff, and her work with that colorist is fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I think I make Mog a little uncomfortable sometimes because I'm really nice to her. Like it's like because you know this personally. I'll just do nice things for no good, just for no reason, and people just don't know what to do with it sometimes.
She came on my show. Well, no, I did a live with her and Rob to help them get some views and whatnot and to be able to chat about it. But when she was on my show a while back and we were doing our interview, I mentioned Game of Thrones tons of times because she's the artist for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know.
And she does beautiful, brilliant work on that. And she announced there, she said, actually, I have a secret book that's about to go up on there. It's a variant for a Source Point Press book. And I was like, oh, cool. And she's like, it's a Hodor homage. And I'm like, oh, damn. Okay. So then I go on the show with her last night or the other night. And we're talking, and I'm like, I want to show you something. She's like, what's that? I'm like, I got it. I got that Hodor homage. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So her and I are meeting up in Dallas at one of the conventions, and I'm gonna get her to sign that because oh yeah.
So because of the mail service, it took weeks for her to send. Like I bought some posters from her because she's great. Like she's really great. Yeah. And I was like, she actually thought I didn't like them. I'm like, how? Like who would hate her work? That I don't want to know that person. I mean, we're not for everybody, but really, it's like no, she's great. I love her. I like her. I'm very curious what they said. Christopher Moran, love her, like the Peerless is really good, cool. I got the Where's Waldo comic guy. Sometimes I just look at the Kickstarter credits to see if he's there, and he's there more often than not. That damn Waldo, he's everywhere. Yeah,
you never know. Yeah, I've had a couple people go, dude, you did this one too, and I'm like, which one is that? Oh yeah, no, I did do that one. Yeah,
no, which is cool. So I'm gonna ask another novel question. I know we've been talking a lot, we've gone all over the place, but I figure. So you've done one with somebody, and that's cool. So when are you gonna do one on your own?
Yeah, you know what was nice about doing this one was the format and way we were able to do it. Because we were doing one chapter every 2 weeks. We had that format. It was a lot easier to do, and to if I did another one, especially on my own, I would probably do it in a similar manner. Maybe even stick with, maybe even do it as an audio drama as well, and just keep going with it, because it forced me to finish things. And I kind of like the raw aspect. Like, I'm sure someone's going to read this and be like, you could have, worked on this or worked on that. You're right. But I like the raw aspect of what we did. I feel like we got a really cool story across. And, if you think about it, you get a TV series, and so let's say they do a TV season, but they're writing and filming that TV season for like a 6-month period. So there's no way that you can get to the end of that and then go, oh, I just figured out this really cool thing. Let's go back to episode 2 and do some tweaks. You can't fucking do that. So I kind of like the idea of, I really have to think ahead and really have to. And often what I'll do is we'll write things in knowing that we have to deal with them later. Like, so you have read the book. In chapter 1, there is it's very innocuous. At one point there's this craziness going on, and Tim looks down on his phone and he has a phone call from an unknown number. And he's like, well, what was it? What's this all about? I don't even know what. And he just ignores it. By the time you get to chapter 11, you're able to find out exactly what that call is. And we didn't know what that call was going to be. We just opened ourselves up to the opportunity and remembered that happened. We have to deal with that. And so by the time we got to chapter 11, we're like, cool. So if I were to do another one, and yes, there will be more novels. Like, obviously, we're working on the next one right now for Chronicles of the Essence Guard. But I would probably do it in a similar manner, just because I know that would push me to get it done.
So there's another big difference. Okay, they're not different in terms of like what they do, because storytelling is ultimately all about creating expectations and fulfilling them, either by fulfilling them exactly as people imagine them or by inverting those expectations.
Yeah.
So whichever tells the better story is the rule I go by. You don't have to fool your audience to entertain them.
Yeah.
Right. But you do have to surprise them just enough to keep them coming back for more. That's the trick. There's a balancing act. With a novel, you have a lot more room to dangle carrots in front of them than you do with comics. That's the biggest difference between the two of them. You can dangle carrots. You can make interesting little things happen, bob in and out. Don't get me wrong, folks. Comics, you can do it too. However, you don't have as much room to do that. More often than not, you have to do a setup and a payoff, either within the issue, or if you do it very old school, you set a panel up in one issue, you follow it up in another issue, and you follow it up in another issue until it becomes the forefront of whatever it is you're working on.
Yeah, like if you set something up, you either want to deal with it in that issue or in that arc. Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ans's cat is out of the bag. It's like, yeah, I guess it is. We talk about Mog, and I can't wait. But no,
who's on there? What was on there?
Mog just liked the stat. Mog just liked the status. I did tag her on this one, right? Because here's the thing, right? I'm very careful about this, and not just in part because of what you said, but also I just realized. I mean, I am a whore, and I'm trying to advertise myself, but I don't want to be like such a whore that it's bad taste, bad form. There's a proper form.
Yeah.
There's proper form in being a whore, folks. There really is. Chuck just nods his head. No comment, saying nothing.
as a fellow whore, I totally agree. I mean, I'm the guy who was able to get people to start looking at who the editor is. You know what I mean? Like that's been something that I've been kind of proud of, is now people actually, and I mean, they've done it, but I think especially in indies and whatnot, more and more people are looking at the editor, and I want that. And it's okay if I'm not that person. I want you to be able to look and see like, oh, this person was there. So hopefully they took it seriously, and hopefully I can expect this certain amount of stuff from that book.
So, okay, this is indie novels to indie comics comparison here. I think what's also happened in the last few years, like indie novels had to take themselves more seriously sooner than indie comics did, I think. And I'm not saying that comics actually were indie first in terms of indie books being produced and quality, but I do feel this is the thing. Novels do require a lot more hidden hands than I think hidden hands. I'm not saying. I mean,
like beta readers and all that.
Yeah. Like there's a lot more hidden hands in a comic, not in a comic, in a novel than there is in a comic, right? They take a village, they both do, but you see the village in comics up front a lot more, right? And I think what's happened in comics, like novels established those hidden hands better than comics did for a very long time. And now comics are becoming, especially now, again, professional quality. You can look at an indie book in comics, whether it's on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, and it's something DC or Marvel or Image or IDW would be glad to have in their catalog.
Yeah.
Straight up. So, but in order to get to that point, right? That means that usually the creators are working with people like yourself. Maybe even getting beta readers. Although with art, I imagine that's a very different thing.
Yeah.
Right? I imagine it's a very different thing with art. But the idea is still very sound. You want to tell the best story you can. So the more people that can have that goal, right? It actually helps. Like I said this to my editor of the magazine when I handed my first article. I don't care if you crucify me. make me better, right? I don't want to be. I don't need my ego stroked.
Mm-hmm.
Kick my ass. I'll get up. I'll be better. I just don't want to do it too often or I'll get my ass fired. Because I mean, those ass beatings, they do take time and effort, and editors don't usually have time for that stuff. Yeah. But I don't mind getting my ass handed to me once in a while because I need to not be humbled per se, more like I want to be a better storyteller, which means it's easy when you're by yourself to shortchange yourself. And I think that's where a lot of these hidden hands are great because they force you to be honest about your work. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I think comics have come to that point where it's like now we are getting these movie deals. We're getting people coming after us for our properties now too. How can we be as professional as we possibly can?
I think, it's funny. Comics are weird. We're so self-deprecating.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people treat comics, the way that comics and comic creators are treated is actually a disgusting cycle that most of us perpetuate. It's a self-perpetuating cycle because all too often someone would, let's say you get your comic out there, you're doing something. One of the first questions that anyone is going to ask you, or that you're maybe even going to say is, hey, if I was to make this into a movie, I would do this. You're already saying that movies are here and your comic is way down here. You've already put yourself in the corner. And said that is the higher level of entertainment, which is such a bullshit statement. I'm not going to stand at you and tell you that comics are better than movies. What I'm going to tell you is that they're different mediums completely, and they offer you completely different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And to assume that one is better than the other is preposterous. And we do it all so often. We talk about how I can't wait till I make it to the bigs. Dude, just make the stories that you love. Yep. Do the stuff that you love, and then you'll be able to get a bigger audience, whether it's in that medium or in a different medium. And yeah, just all too often we treat ourselves that way. The one thing I will say that comics does different and maybe better than novels is that comics, whether you're pushing your comics through Kickstarter and Indiegogo, or you're in with a publisher, whether you're self-published or whatever, doesn't matter. No one gives a shit. They'll treat you the same, pretty much. Now, obviously, if you're in with some of the higher echelon publishers, you are going to get a little better treatment, but nonetheless, you're still going to get the same respect, whatever that is. But in novels, if you're kickstarting your novel rather than going through a traditional publisher, or you're self-publishing it, say through like an Amazon or something, you're not going to be treated the same way at all. And it's sad, but it's true.
So I'm gonna push back on indie on you a little bit. I agree with you with crowdfunding. I think though, people like Russell Novelty are shattering that. I look at what Russell's doing with his next Kickstarter. It's my last Kickstarter I'm supporting for a little while because again, Kickstarter is like a candy store. There's a lot of pretty things, but there's only so much money I have to spend on it.
Yeah,
I gotta pay my artist, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to make sure she's paid. So, well, due respect, and I love people making dreams, but I got my own dreams to come true too. So, but that all said, I think Russell's done a great job. He's actually taught me a lot about how I would do it. I want to do a Kickstarter run with my books because, but I will push back on you a little bit with the indie. Now, maybe it works a little different with me because initially I was traditionally published, right? but I've gotten more. I've done better as an indie than I did as a traditional published guy.
Yeah.
I've done better, and the fact that maybe it's also because I have a platform that might help me to some degree as well. That's a possibility. I don't know, but you are treated differently. That I will give you.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not talking about sales or anything like that.
No. But this is what I will say. I'm not sure it's an upper or lower level of respect difference exactly. I think it's more like this. I think it's more like this. I'm going out there. I think with novels, the niches of publishing are more niche, right? In the sense that if I go with a traditional publisher, I'm going to, in all likelihood, follow certain formulas, which make sense because for those publishers, this is how they've made their bread and butter. It's like if I came in to do Batman, right? I'm doing a version of Batman. I'm doing my version of Batman, but it's Batman, right? Now, if I'm doing something for myself, like for example, not spoiling too much, I'm having Alice fight and Jason of the Argonauts in a game of croquet in the labyrinth of the underworld for my next Alice book, just because I can. And I'm having fun with it, and then the winner gets the golden fleece if they can get by the insomniac dragon in the center of the maze that Jason legitimately had to fight in his own story. It's just too good not to throw in the story. But hey, when you research this stuff, you're like, this is just too good. I have to steal it. This is just way too good. But the thing is, I'm hitting different niches.
Yeah,
indie books are becoming more eligible for the same awards. The book that I've got an award for is an indie book. So that's the thing, right? What I think is traditional and indie. I'm going to say traditional indie. I think crowdfunding, unfortunately, you are correct. I think you are very correct, and I think it's wrong, and I think it's going to take about another 3-4 years before authors realize what a goldmine Kickstarter really is.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm going to be doing some crowdfunding books in the next couple of years because you know what? I don't care about respect. I want to get paid. Right?
Yeah, Essence House did great on there. Essence House did really well on there.
Yeah. No, that's it. Like, no, it's actually an underserved. It's an underserved area for novelists, to be perfectly honest with you. There's not a lot. There are some great things on there, but there's not a lot of them. So if you come up with a wonderful, so my Alice books, when I'm a little farther ahead, I'm going to be kickstarting Alice with a board game.
Oh, board games do so well on Kickstarter. Oh my gosh.
But
that's ridiculous.
No, but here's the deal. I want to do a world map for my series, and then I'm the guy that recognizes the chocolate chip cookies in his cookie dough, but he accidentally sprinkles in. I actually literally came up with a board game map for Alice. I literally asked how to play the game, and I'm not fucking kidding. The rules beamed into my head. It was like an immediate, instantaneous, like, I got to make this game. So I got to make more Alice first, but I got to make this game because I already have the game in my head. I've play tested the game too already quite a bit.
Wow.
So now, yeah. Oh man, no, it works. It's the craziest version of the game of Snakes and Ladders you've ever played. And that's all I'm going to say. It's
that
crazy.
Sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, and it's a co-op game, but it's really, really cool. But the thing about it is, that's what I'm going to do. Why? Because I know that's perfect for Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's perfect for Kickstarter. I know in my soul that's going to be good. Honestly, the next Alice release is my proof of concept. Once that's done, I'm going to do it. How much more time you got, man? Got my
I opened up my evening. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of something like that, that's a reason why we did the Cthulhu Invades Oz, and then Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, because Travis looked in there and he already had an affinity for those stories and those characters and worlds, but he went, they do so well on Kickstarter and they already have a name.
Yeah.
And so if you say, all you have to do is say Cthulhu Invades Oz, I already get it. Yeah. I already know what it is. Yeah. And I don't even have to know anybody involved. And so he got some of the best people that he had worked with and had been around and whatnot. And he did that and it worked out really well. And then he did the same. Now we're doing the same with Cthulhu Invades Wonderland. And yeah, man, it's worked very well.
Yeah. If you ever do another Wonderland, you should give me a shout. I'd love to do something with you guys. But anyways, that's
I'll mention it to him. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to do something with you guys. That'd be fun. That would be totally fun. I just gotta warn you. I'm crazy, but I think you know that. So
yeah, that's not really a warning.
Yeah, that's just something you just automatically know. It's like
that's just like this porn has nudity. Yeah, I'm aware. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm aware. Thanks, pal. Oh man, but I honestly I'm looking at my career as an author, and I'm looking at Kickstarter because again, it's underserved. It is so underserved right now, and there's don't get me wrong. I think to be honest with you, I think comics are a better fit for Kickstarter than novels are. But I do think there is a place for them there for sure.
I think there's a better fit because you have more stuff that you can show off as far as pictures and whatnot to get people excited. So just in that regard, okay, fine. And it's easier to it's easier to take a splash page, turn it into a special print, and then show it off. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay, you're right there. It's easier in that regard. But if you're willing to put the money into it and create some advertising images and whatnot, it's still solid and very doable. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do it. Like I said, I'm going to be very quietly probably building a genuine board game model of my board game, and then probably what I'll do for as probably my 700th episode. That's my goal when I get to episode 700. Right.
You're over 500, right?
572. Yeah,
okay.
So when I get to 700, I hope to have a rough copy of the game. I'm talking not the one I did earlier with the cardboard and the chess pieces and just the mishmash of stuff. No. The board game will be done, right? I still might not have everything done in terms of the cards, for treasures and stuff like that, right? But you'll have the basic pieces, you'll have the basic dice, you'll have the basic game, and a fun time had by all.
I bet.
Yeah. So that's my plan. That's my master plan for. And then once that's done, it's and my Kickstarter date is here.
Yeah. Are you gonna put your novels on first, or?
You know what? Maybe. So my next project after Alice. So I got 2 other novels coming out that I'm hoping to have them both out by the end of this year, but we'll see. One I'm writing and drawing. Never thought I'd say that. Never thought I'd say that in a million years.
The Dragon Book?
No, that's the Dragon Book is after Alice is done. Because because so Alice is the book going for an award. So I kind of felt as an impetus to get the second one of those done first, because with my first Alice is getting nominated. That seems like a heck of a marketing ploy to get people to get a sequel, right? So that just from a business standpoint, that one makes sense to go first. And then I talked very briefly with with the artist I really want to work on this book with. She's really excited to do it, which is awesome. And it's I'm gonna look forward to knocking it out of the park with her. as I reinvent the Knights of the Round, like my own Injustice gang. It's gonna be great.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. And then the book I'm writing and drawing, I'm hoping to have out by Christmas. That one's going to be the dragon slaying one. Could be a Kickstarter one, but I'm not. I have to think about that a little bit more if I want to do it like that because the Kickstarter. The only thing about the Kickstarter is I feel like, oddly enough, I don't have enough books out. I know that sounds really dumb, but I know that sounds really, really dumb. But hear me out on this. It's not me ducking. It's not me ducking it. I just feel like. I feel like from just a novel standpoint, because all my books have been poetry, with the exception of one. My second book, The Lights Out, the one I'm writing and drawing, is way better than my first book. And this one I'm working on is way better than that book. But I almost feel like I need to finish Lights Out before I do the parallel dragon slaying one I've done the draft of Lights Out already, the written one. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I need to write that draft before I tackle that one properly. And then when I'm done that, we'll kind of see. I definitely put it this way, in terms of visuals, I picked the right person to work on it. And I'm sure if I ask really nicely, it's like, hey, listen, do you want to make an evil round table with all the evil knights on there as kind of like a cool little bonus somehow, some way? I corrupted the Knights of the Round Table, man. I was an evil fuck.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So, but it's gonna be good. No, like those are my next 3 books, and then somewhere in all this, I'm freelancing, and I'm podcasting. And I'm probably going to be traveling across the country, both countries, probably starting in the fall. I think I'm the Dave Chappelle. I'm not as funny as, just in terms of just going in terms of just going out there and doing it and just kind of doing it to the beat of my own drum.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that's probably an accurate way to describe me.
That's funny. That's funny. Dude, yeah, I mean, I hope to see you on the road.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm doing a bunch of Texas shows here. Yeah. I actually have a signing on Sunday, a little store signing we're doing. Yeah.
No, what I might talk to you when we get off the air is what shows are going on around like November, right? Because Texas is nice in the winter. Comparatively,
it is.
Yeah, comparatively.
Where I'm at, I'm still in shorts, motherfucker.
Yeah,
year round. Yeah, year round.
Yeah. So, although it's hilarious when everybody was panicking in the snow in Texas, you're like, fuck, whatever.
Well, the funny thing is that so my family, especially my dad, was making fun of me. I said, look, here's the thing. Me and my family can handle the snow, but we don't have the clothes to handle the snow. We don't have the homes to handle the snow. Our homes are not ready. So all of my pipes burst.
Of course.
Most our energy system was not prepared for it and went down. There was massive blackouts and whatnot and power loss and stuff. So, to say, oh, Texas can't handle Texans can't handle the snow. It's like, no, that's not fair. They're not great drivers, and I've had to talk to them about that in the snow because you and I both know it's a totally different experience. I remember one of the first times we had snow here, there was this poor girl at the grocery store. I'd driven out. I was one of the few people who drove out to the grocery store. I'm like, fuck, whatever. I need to pick stuff up. I don't care. This is nothing to me.
You haven't seen before. It's like whatever.
So I drove no problem, and this girl is sitting there talking to her friend. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared. And I was like, look, here's what you're going to do. You're going to drive slow, and everything you're going to do is slow. That means you're going to speed up, slow. You're going to slow down, slow. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Don't slam on your brakes because then you're done. Just pump them. Just give them a little pump and slow down. That's the best you're going to do. You're going to be a little worried, but you're going to be fine. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, and you're not going to go fast. And I said, no one's going to be forcing you to go fast on that. You'll be fine. She was like, you sure? I said, I'm from Canada. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's right?
Fine. This is nothing. You're going to be okay. As long as you know those things, you're fine.
That's right. It's one of those things. Oh, so I should ask you a fun question about something I should do. Should I write an essay about the appreciation stuff I've done for the last little bit?
I think that would be fun. Yeah, man.
Yeah, because honestly, I felt like, and maybe just to wrap things up full circle a little bit, I recognize the best contribution I could have in this time was to be kind to people, no matter where they stood, how they stand, whatever. Like I just, I decided, I had my moments, we all did, but by and large, I just was positive. And I was like, and like the last 2 weeks, I have had the responses I've had from so many people.
Yeah.
It's wow. Like, wow. I actually encourage anybody to do what I did, even just to one person. It's amazing the response you get. And no one expects it. And I think that's why it's such, and I think the one thing I realized about I hope we never go through anything like this ever again in my lifetime.
God. Oh, yeah, in any lifetime. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right. But if we have to go through another disaster somehow, some way down the road, if it happens again, I'm not wishing this on anybody, guys. Just please don't beat me. Right. But I hope we're kinder next time.
Yeah.
That's my hope. Didn't have to be this mean. That's looking back, it's the last thing. But anyway, let's do it. Hold on. I'm gonna grab another beer. We're gonna do a toast. Okay. And dude, we know. I almost feel like this is a tradition here. We gotta do some kind of music, because honestly, man, you want a big battle. Hey, listen, you made a very beautiful thing. I'm gonna say it exactly like that. You made an incredibly beautiful thing. And I should ask this before I actually give you this really nice thing. When you did the novel, did this scare you?
Did doing the novel scare me?
Putting it out there, because this is not. This is like this was for you out of your comfort zone moment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, having the audio drama out there takes the edge off a little bit, because I've already had people check it out and whatnot. But I want to say no, but that's kind of a lie, because okay, so I've been given 2 copies so far. We're still doing fulfillment, and then whatever's left over after we're done fulfilling, we split halfway. I get half, and Eric gets the other half. And so I got both a paperback copy and a hardcover copy. And so I lent my mother, because I'm keeping both of my copies, but I lent my mother-in-law my my paperback copy, and I said, hey, if you want to read it, go ahead. And a week went by. Didn't hear anything. 2 weeks went by. I didn't hear anything. 3 weeks went by. Oh, fuck. I wrote the biggest piece of fucking steaming trash on the face of the fucking planet, and my mother-in-law can't even fucking call me and tell me to my face, and I'm fucking freaking out. And then she says, so, hey, I forgot to tell you your book. And I was like, yeah? Mm-hmm. She goes, it's funny about me. I usually get into moods when I'm reading, and I just haven't been in a mood to read in a long time. So I'm really sorry I just haven't opened it up, but I'm really excited to check it out. And I'm like, holy fuck, I'm sitting here thinking it's like the biggest steaming pile of shit, and you haven't even fucking read it. And she was like, oh yeah, no, I just, just haven't kind of been in the place to read lately. And I'm like, that's fine. That's okay. So now I'm just assuming in my head that she's not reading it, and then I'll finally find out. So I wanted to say no, it didn't bother me, but it turns out, yeah, the anxiety's there, and I am. I need some people to read it and get back to me and be like, it was great, or so here's what you could work on, So I'm fine with that.
I'll give you both. But I'll give you. I don't. So guys, I've only read a couple chapters, so I'm not gonna comment on the story completely.
Good, because that's the part I feel the best about.
Right, I know, but I was gonna say with what I've read so far, it's compelling. It's funny. It's a little funny, right? It's a little funny. It's eccentric in a really interesting way because it's a time travel book and it has a cool little eccentricity to it that all good time travel books have. But it's cohesive. It's a good story, and at the very least, I feel at this moment I feel like I want to read more. So automatically, without reading the whole thing, you've already got a victory because I want to read more.
Thank you.
That's the goal of it. That's the goal of a book.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, on Vucet, we should come to Hawaii. I'm actually seriously halfway contemplating that because here's the other thing. My sister's now she's flying an airline again, which means Hawaii super cheap
tickets. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know about that.
Yeah.
I had a buddy who he worked for Air Canada at Pearson
Oh wow.
Airport in Toronto. And so he what he would do is he lived in Halifax. And so he would wake up in the morning, drive in, take a plane, whatever plane he felt like, for he said, I was paying like $14. Fly from Halifax to Toronto, work his full day, and then fly back at the end of the day. And he said, it's only like an hour and a half flight. I was like, holy crap, dude. And so he said, that's like being in traffic. Only the whole time I'm in traffic, I'm sleeping in a plane. Like it was nothing. I'm like, holy crap. Yeah, that's pretty great.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. So yeah, no, dude, that's awesome. And I'm a big Lost fan. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii and do the Lost tour. So yeah.
Nice. I want to go to Hawaii a little and maybe live there for a little bit because it would make my sister insanely jealous. I'm not doing it for the best, but yeah, for a little bit. And also, but I also realized if I did move to Hawaii, I'd have to make a whole bunch of keys. Can I come to come hang out in Hawaii? You can come out. You can come out. You might be able to come out. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. It's like,
oh yeah.
Because with how expensive everything's becoming in places to live anyway, you might as well just go where you want to go. Like, honest to God, I mean, fuck it. Why not? Yeah. That all said, finish comment. You made a beautiful thing, man. You should be very proud of what you did. And honest to God, I hope you do more. I think as much as you never forget your first loves. And with women and with your art forms, you never forget them. And dude, proud of you. I don't know if that means an absolute much.
It means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It means an awful lot to me. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you really did good. You did good. So I gotta go get a beer and I gotta toast you because honest to God, you deserve it.
All right, I'm here. I'm hanging out. I got my liquor.
Yeah, I was so choked. I forgot all about how the beer store works. I was so mad at myself. It's like, God damn it.
Oh, well. I'll just take a shot with you.
Yes. Yeah. I will be just as terrified when I actually release drawings into the world and sequentials inside my book.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'm gonna be just as terrified as you are.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, because it's one thing to do a drink and draw, although that still floors me. Some of the people that have come to draw with me, just like, cool, right?
Yeah.
But at the same token, it's like that's one thing. Going out there out of your comfort zone and having the audacity to say, please buy this is like
huge.
Yeah.
The balls on us.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, but Chuck, you did it. So Essen House. So your fulfillment's done. When your fulfillment's done.
Yep.
Or when your fulfillment's done. So when is it? So when are people going to be able to be on once the fulfillment's complete? Be able to get the book?
Amazon. It'll be on Amazon. We'll just turn the button back on, and you'll be able to grab it there.
Yeah. Do you know when? Like, do you know when for people out there?
So it's been held back a little bit because my co-conspirator Eric is currently getting a house he's buying a house right now at the same time.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on, but he's started putting packages together, and I think things are starting to go up pretty soon. So I'm hoping in the next coming weeks we'll be able to do that.
And season 3 is where you're at currently with Essen House, right?
Season 3 is out right now. This season is called The Children of the Essence. That's the story. And so right now we have season 3, chapter 3. And season 3 and 4 is basically going to be the next book. So for those of you out there who are who have never checked it out, you don't have to go back and listen to seasons 1 and 2. Season 3 is a separate book. It's still in the same world, and there are a fair amount of characters from the first book, but it is still its own story, so you don't have to have read the first book in order to get what's going on in the second. And in fact, the second one actually happens 8 years prior. So it's a bit of a prequel, though. It's time travel, so it comes before, after, during, all of that great stuff. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. So, man, you don't, if you look at that very daunted and go, I have to binge 2 seasons. Nah, man, right now they're 20-minute long episodes, approximately. Episode 3 just dropped, today's Friday, so 2 days ago. So you can go check those out. And if you like what you hear, then you can go back and you can binge the other series. And every 2 weeks on all of the major streaming networks, a new episode comes out.
Well, guys, definitely check out Essen's House. Check out the book. And I'm not even going to talk about what your next comic release is, because at this point, you've probably got so many coming out that it's not like it's like.
Yeah, I mean, as far as stuff I'm working on, I have at one point over this last month, I had 4 books on Kickstarter. Right now, I think I have only 1 or 2, but that'll change any minute now, I'm sure. So
yeah. Just look for the guy in the Waldo glasses and hat. That's Chuck. Although straight up, if you ever get like your picture in a bio, I'd pop if I saw that as in the bio. I would pop. I would legit pop for that.
I have a black and white. My buddies call it the pirate shirt, and it's a black and white striped shirt, and I wear that a lot, and they love that, and that's kind of my Where's Waldo shirt. So yeah.
No, dude, because I don't know why that stuck with me, but you literally are everywhere in comics, and you made the genre a better place for being there, buddy. So
thank you, homie. I appreciate you.
All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, so wait, do you have the link? Like the link to the show, like where people can find it? Is it essencehouse.com?
You guys can go to essencehouse.story.com.
Okay, hold on a second here. I'm just doing this.
You can go to essencehouse.story.com and you can do that. Or like I said, literally any of your major, wherever you listen to podcasts, and you're like, oh, well, I listen on Apple. We're on there, baby. Mm-hmm. We're on Amazon. We're on all of that stuff. We were actually, that was the cool thing about Amazon when they did their streaming service. And when they started that, we were actually contacted to be one of the first wave of audio dramas to be on there.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
So all I did with Amazon was just put my podcast on there. Although it's just like, I'm just at it because it's cool. But I mean, it's that's a cool honor. That's a really cool honor, dude. Dramas. Next time we come on, next time we do this, whether it's here or on your show someday over the rainbow, we gotta talk about that, about putting together like these experiences in these different genres and mediums and different because we both do that. We do that in different ways, and that's kind of really cool. So, for everybody watching, this is Chuck. He's an author, and he's good. Definitely check him out. And as for me, guys, thanks for watching and listening. Want to support this podcast, click the like, follow button, twitch.tv/justjoshingpodcast. I have the followers. Now I just need enough regular people to watch live, and I will be an affiliate. So that's really, really cool. My YouTube channel is Joshua Pantelleresco. Click like and subscribe there. My most recent book is Alice Zero. Stay tuned. Next month, there'll be another little announcement involving that book. I mentioned it there. And until then, guys, stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And tomorrow's drink and draw. And I promise you, I won't look the same. Anyways, guys, good night.